We've got a few topics to go over, and we're going to start with a continuation from one of our topics in episode 1, which was Child's Play 2019.
Yeah,
It's gonna get heated in here, boys.
We gave our thoughts and opinions on it before we had seen it. We all saw it over the weekend last week. I think I saw it Thursday night. So we haven't really had time to discuss it or really give any opinions yet. So we're all hearing our opinions for the first time.
Me and Adam have had a few arguments over the kitchen about what we think. I'm gonna try and not come off totally biased and hate.
This will be spoiler free as well for the most part, so we'll avoid talking about plot points and things like that if we can.
It's the first time trying to dodge spoilers, so forgive me if something slips. You've been warned.
You've been warned. This is a spoiler free.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
This is a spoiler free review, but if you do spoil it, you've been warned.
We lose all our viewers.
I tried to come in as open-minded and trying to like it as much as possible, but I knew straight away when I sat down at the cinema and saw the opening, like 10, 20 minutes, it set a certain tone that I didn't like where it was going, character-wise with Chucky. Overall, I was fairly disappointed. I'm gonna say it. I was fairly disappointed leaving the cinema. I think I was expecting a certain level of Child's Play that had been taken from the originals, and I felt like it lacked personality, it lacked character. I can understand where some of the fun elements came in, but overall it was kind of just a generic, disappointing film. And I think it could have benefited not being a Child's Play film, just being something completely different. And I think that's where it mainly shot itself in the foot, was trying to be something that it couldn't be. It's like I said on our Facebook group immediately after I finished that I felt like it was the same thing that happened with Nightmare on Elm Street. It's taking something so iconic and redoing it, and it just didn't click with me. And for that, I don't know, I was disappointed.
There, he said it. He's disappointed. Are we surprised?
No, I shouldn't
be. What did you think of it, Adam?
When I came out of the cinema, I kind of I tend to always try and think like, how do I feel after watching it? And I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was a terrible, shitty film. And me and Jamie talked for quite a bit on the tram. Like I was really trying to think about what I want to rate this film.
We came into the house still arguing about it. Our parents told us to shut up because we're arguing for so long.
Yeah, but like I was trying to think of a score to give it. I ended up with a 6.5, which was a B minus. The things that I liked about it were I liked the score, the music, especially the start of the film. I was really excited once they had like that typical kind of over the top child horror music going on, and that was kind of cool. The acting was pretty good for the most part. Overall, I think the main issue for me is the same with everyone else. It was the Chucky that was in the film just wasn't Chucky. It lacked so much character. Like there's moments in the film where you feel for the villain. And you shouldn't really be doing that. You know, like this thing is meant to be a scary villain, and to be able to have emotion for it can be good, but I don't think it worked very well in this. I think overall, like the film was fun. It definitely had a lot of problems. And the main one for me is the fact that Chucky lacked personality. There's a lot more things I can go into, but we'll probably go into.
That was like the main blaring thing, is that Chucky was so dull.
Yeah.
If
they like, I always think if they had the original Chucky in this film, would it be good or better?
Yes.
Probably.
What about you, Ron? What do you think?
I agree with pretty much everything you said. especially with your comment on the opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I'm sure we can go into the opening. Like, that's not.
Yeah. Well, if you've seen the original, this isn't really a spoiler because if you've seen the trailer, you know that it's about the the tech company and stuff, and it's so bad that spoiling it is nothing. There's nothing really gained from not spoiling it.
Yeah.
But it basically, it is so bad that I was actually kind of excited for the movie, and then I was like, oh, I wonder how they're gonna change it from the original guy being an actual person, because we knew that it was going to be like a smart doll and stuff like that, and I kind of guessed it was going to be either a virus type thing with the technology or the technology malfunctions somehow. And the way they did it is probably the worst way I've possible. That's the worst route they could have done. It makes almost no sense.
Yeah, it's like, how easy was that to?
I know. I was
the switch, and all of a sudden,
it was just a kill switch. That's all it was, and he did it in 2 seconds because the guy made fun of him.
Yeah, his boss had a go at him, so he's like, "All right, I'm just gonna turn this and kill some people with it."
It was about, I'd say it's maybe about what, a minute and a half, 2-minute sequence of this guy at his workstation at the factory, and Chucky has an Apple Watch next, please. Yeah, they should do that next. It pretty much was just the guy, one of the workers at a factory, I think it was Vietnam or something, where they make these dolls, manufacture these dolls, and his boss or the floor manager or something was bullying him for to be fair, the guy was sitting there half asleep doing nothing.
Yeah.
When the guy
I'm
comes
pretty
over,
sure the boss did go in a bit at him about
he dragged him a little bit. He did drag him, but he came over and he goes, "You're doing nothing. You're worthless. Like, what the hell?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, he's literally doing nothing right now."
I think there's an easier, better way to approach it.
There's a better way to say that, but he
was doing nothing.
He was doing nothing. So, I mean, the guy wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
And then because he got yelled at for not doing his job, which I am assuming the idea is that it's a running thing. This dude, this floor manager's an asshole, and this guy's just had enough. Oh, obviously had enough, because directly after he flicks the disable functions on it came up. It literally comes up on the screen. Profanity filter.
Yeah.
He clicks one button, disabled. Violence filter, disabled.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, and I'm just like, no. So there was just no humanity in this doll. It was just, I'm going to learn how to be a human.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn it wrong. Another thing is how they landed on the doll's name being Chucky.
Yeah, I was just about to go into that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was so forced, and I was just like, I was laughing in the cinema.
I was too.
Adam would look at me, and I'm just grinning, how? Why is this happening?
It gets worse. Man. It gets the start's bad. It goes like this. This is the projection. We start off on a flat surface, right? The opening happens. We go, oh shit, we're going down. And then we kind of flatline for a bit when we're introduced to Andy and his mum, Aubrey Plaza. I'm not sure the kid's name, but really good. Their chemistry together is really good. Andy's really good. Acting all around for them two is great. So we kind of flatline out a bit. We're still a little lower than when we started. Then that happens where he gets his name, and it was just a throwaway, oh, Chucky, yeah, remember that movie that you guys all grew up with? Or
it was so forced.
It made no sense.
The kid pops it down, and then it's just I'm Chucky, and then it's like, what? It's
but even still, he's like, where did that come from?
Yeah, exactly. Just out of nowhere, the doll glitched, and now he just call himself Chucky.
And Andy's like, what's my name? And Andy says, what does he say? Han Solo.
Yeah, some stupid like that.
And then he's like, no, it's actually Chucky. He looks in the camera. I'm like, dude.
I was like, what?
What? What does that have to do with anything?
Winks into the camera.
You honestly may as well have, because at least in the original one, it made sense because it's the guy's nickname in real life when he was a real guy. What was his name in the original? Charles Lee, something Lee?
Charles Lee Ray.
Charles Lee Ray. and his friends call him. His nickname was Chucky.
Yeah, exactly.
It
makes
makes sense. This just how do you go from Han Solo? How does it go from hearing Han Solo to Chucky? I don't understand.
Yeah, we talked about how the kids, they have like, it controls it on the phone, like it's things. So like you're basically giving a kid a doll that can control the house, like
Yeah,
like
essentially.
turning on heating, turning on like lights and
Yeah.
television.
Well,
getting that to a kid.
In saying that, I thought there was going to be like a security system for the house, kind of like Purge or something, where they could like lock down their house or some shit. And I thought that was the route they were going to go down. And I was like, that makes no sense for a child's doll to have that capability.
Yeah.
But it seemed like it was really only activated the TV and like a few other electronics. Like it didn't really seem like it did much. Also, you brought up, I can't remember, I think it was you, Jamie, or maybe Adam, you brought up the point that in the original, it wasn't a moving doll.
Yeah, it
So
was.
when it does
it
move,
came in exactly. It came into the film just a doll that doesn't move. It's just a doll. And then the scary thing about it is that it begins to move around the house behind.
and you don't see it
Yeah,
move for ages.
Yeah, and this one, he's just up straight away, yapping and walking and talking.
Yeah,
And it just takes away from the horror part of it. I hate to say it, but like, I really wanted to like the film, but it's just the fact that
So did
Chucky
I.
was so bland. Like I was waiting for like this screaming, like calling him a bitch with a knife and stabbing it and everything, but like it's tickle time and then a stab.
Yeah, and
It's bloody
Frozen
tickle
just
time.
also said in the original you get the classic batteries aren't in, like the batteries aren't in it.
Yeah. The original just set itself up so well to
It
work.
did. It all makes sense. The writing is really good. I rewatched it after I got home from the cinemas watching this one and rewatched the original one straight away because I wanted to have like a comparison while it's still fresh. It is so much better writing wise, like the plot wise, like everything just works and makes sense. I reckon they should have done or at least if they did a smart doll, they could have done something like the Black Mirror thing, like the Ashley O, where they got this public figure who's working in like a collaboration with this tech company to make this doll for like kids. Keep all that in, and then have that, like, I don't know, halfway through the movie, you find out that this guy who's this public figure is actually like a psychopath. You could have something like that where he's like, the doll's like, I want to like flick the TV back on, and he flicks the TV on and sees his like the personality he's based on is like killing like a murderer or whatever it is, and then that like filter in his head, which was already damaged, gets all that, and he's like, oh wait, okay, so I'm actually like a fucking psychopath. Something like, as simple as that could have really like helped it.
Like, to finish it, I gave it 4 out of 10.
I'd probably give it maybe 5.
I gave it a 6.5, and Chris Duckman, my boy, gave it the same.
I give it a 5. I would have given it a 4, but the Texas Chainsaw 2 reference in there bumped me up 1.
I wanted to tell you about that, but like you hadn't seen it at the time. I was like, hey, I like this. I want to watch this film.
I like the same. I was like, hey.